as the platform kind of rests, stone kind of hitting against stone. And before you, it's just this one kind of doorway. But there's benches on either side. And I think at that point, you see a centaur sitting there as well. As Mats, you're there too. Ostani. And at that moment, as you're all kind of arriving, the door opens and you see a dwarven woman with hair pulled back into a very tight bun. There's not a whisper of a hair out of place. Bright green eyes that in certain light looks like almost like a hawk's eyes, like she can see through you. Very severe kind of expression on her face as she is standing in these kind of navy blue shirt. And instead of wearing armor like a lot of the other Crown's Guard, it looks almost like this kind of silver chain that shifts, and every now and then you can see it almost looks like a mage armor, perhaps, kind of shifting, almost looking like scales across the ocean, shifting in the light. And she kind of regards all of you. All right. And she looks at her little watch. Not a second late. Good.
Diadora's giving her like a blank stare, like it, like it's almost like who the fuck even are you? Totally like if Diadora was at like a ruder person, she'd be like, move the fuck out of my fucking way. Like, it's my friend. Don't talk to me like that. Like, what do you mean?
And Rory just gives like a single nod because they're so used to dealing with bureaucracy that of course you would have taken the time instead of just letting us do what we were doing on time to make us wait an extra minute to be like that much later to the thing that we're trying to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She kind of nods at everyone. All right. Well, you're welcome to come on in. Do you want
I'm already walking past her. I'm already walking past her.
Like she went, so well then, and Diadora was like, well then, as she's
You hear a okay. Do you want any tea? Coffee?
As like Rory is walking past Diadora far ahead of him, that won't be necessary. Thank you. I do not break my stride while I say that.
No.
Ostani's like, these rude ass people.
Ostani's just, I think they're, if they're sitting there, if you're at the office and see all this happen, they're just like, one, two, whoa, wait, huh? Oh, we're walking. And then immediately like trying to get up and standing at attention. They probably have heard what they said and they said, tea. Oh yes, tea. No tea. No tea. No, I'm good on tea. And then whisper to them, a green tea, please. And then walk behind. Is this all together? Are we all? And that's their like face expression is, my appointment is a group appointment. Okay. Like,
when you realize it's a panel interview.
Yeah.
Like,
that's the face that Ostani is having right now. Like, are they interviewing? No. Okay. No idea.
Well, and to refresh Ostani's memory too, you do remember Raina did mention that Tyneal had talked about several adventurers that were going to be maybe in attendance if they had arrived in time by that point. So it was.
They're remembering it as they're walking. They're like, "Oh, that is what they meant." Oh, okay. And like as they're thinking, are they my other interviewers? Oh, no. Okay, we're here together.
And you enter in. You can see that probably this assistant has like a little desk directly to the side on the right. As soon as you kind of walk in with shelves and scrolls kind of strewn about the place. Then ahead, there are two double doors that are I imagine Diadora is just pushing open, leading into this large kind of common room area. And you can see one side of the entire room is just windows overlooking Jorix in its entirety. It's in a perfect spot where it's able to see the kind of tiered cloud top and the temple and the distant castle off to the left. And then the rest of Jorix is at essentially his feet. Off to the right is the farmlands. You can see the ocean straight ahead. And standing there in a very fine outfit at this point is a half-orc. Slightly gray, greenish tinge to his skin with age. He has his grayed hair kind of pulled back into a low bun as well, and you can see kind of braids strewn through it. Back is turned. He's wearing a black and gold uniform. This is the commander. He is, even though a friend may be visiting, he is still going to follow protocol to a T for the most part. You can see to his side, he has on either side rather, he has two blades. One that looks perfectly curved, almost like and I'm blanking on the term, my apologies, but it's one of those knives that you can cut wheat with that's curved.
A sickle.
A scythe?
Sickle.
A sickle.
Thank
scythe.
you.
Same difference.
I was like, I know it's one of those things. I can't remember what though. He has a sickle, and then he has a dagger to the opposite side. And you can see emblazoned on the hilt is the ram facing forward. And he kind of gives a sigh, seems to be looking up before fully turning to you. And you see this half-organ gentleman, probably in his like 60s or 70s. He's definitely getting up there in age. And very stern kind of look. But Diadora, you catch this for the flicker of a second because it's very slight. And it looks like he's just slow blinking. You get he is giving you a very noted wink in your direction.
He's absolutely trying not to laugh that I just walked past his assistant and came into his office.
Absolutely is. You can see like there's just the slightest little bit of twitch on the corners of his mouth from him trying to just, again, keep it to protocol and giving you the proper respect. But at the same time, like just a look of proudness for just a flicker of a moment comes across his expression as he kind of eyes all three of you. Well, thank you all for meeting me so abruptly. Apologies, as I know some of you are still settling in. I hope the venture wasn't too troublesome.
Why are you being so formal?
I have to follow protocol to an extent. First, we have to get through
Why?
business, then pleasantries. Diadora, you know this.
Protocol for what?
Well, if we let them get through the protocol, we can get to the fun stuff faster.
Think we'd get to the fun stuff faster if we skip the protocol.
Ostani like laughs to that.
You're not wrong, but this isn't the gentle lady in the front office.
Yes, but this is an old friend.
Kind of eyes each of you. And at that moment, he'll clap his hands, and from the floor, kind of folding out, are these kind of couches and chairs for everyone to sit. A table rises as well. Well, we might as well get ourselves comfortable here, as I have a feeling you have some stories to tell.
I
I
have
a
both
feeling you have the
stories.
same.
We do have stories to tell, but also, and I lean in, I definitely have some questions to ask.
As do I.
I also have questions to ask, and I like turn to Ostani. This like Like, it has not been lost on Diadora that there's like this tall centaur person towering over everyone. Like,
and the only time that they come back to their actual fate, like their resolute face, they look straight towards. Well, that is why I was brought here, for questions. So, should we start on the first one?
I think we should start with introductions.
Precisely what I was trying to get to, but yes.
I think Rory at this point like leans away from the table and just back into the chair, just as like just relaxed and composed. It's like, okay, well, we're here. Let's do this.
Well, I'll start off. I'm Commander Tyneal, and I appreciate everyone arriving today. And he kind of eyes the door, and you see him like scrutinize his eyes for a second, and then the door shuts. And each of you feels a wave from the very center of this room. It's almost like this bubble kind of expands. I'm not going to make you roll. But from your passive, it seems like he's securing the room, and this bubble will prevent anyone from scrying or listening in, trying to ensure that what is being said here, and including your own identities, are going to be held in the highest of confidentiality.
Feeling that expansiveness, there is this like finger that goes up where Ostani just, and then as soon as it warps around and they feel secure, they'll sit and collapse into a couch just as like a resting centaur. Look up, then with a short little smile, Ostani,
Pleasure.
I am a watcher on the wall of the veil. I have some questions, and I was brought here hopefully to get some answers, but that's for later talk.
There is the quirk of an eyebrow from Rory at the mention of the veil.
Same with Diadora. Diadora, former Crown's Guard. Whatever I'm needed to be now.
I see.
More formally, my name is Roridir. I am an inventor.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you all. As you can probably imagine, we all obviously have questions and concerns about what's been happening, not just here in Jorix, but as our wonderful adventurers traveling from Illipin and beyond. He kind of pauses, giving a very meaningful eye to Diadora. This is not an isolated incident, what seems to be happening with disappearances and such. We have other concerns that I'm sure, as our Crown's Guard are constantly hearing it daily. We're quite concerned with also the food shortages that are happening. One, with the areas that's happening within the dock district as well. There's been reports of creatures destroying merchant ships and the like that have been trying to make their way into port. As of last week, the last ship that we were able to get to the Undertow barely made it to port. It was sinking as it arrived in. Just the mast was remaining, with a sole sailor left on board.
That would explain some things that we saw on the way here.
That's prevented us, obviously, from sending out anything, but also getting in. It's a lot easier to travel by sea versus the vast land of Ampistrano, especially right now. We're also concerned, to switch topics real quick, as I do value everyone's time, and I'm sure we have a lot of questions to get through. We're also concerned about the farming districts. We And he looks at Ostani. And I'm sure the temples are very much aware that we are concerned about food shortages in the coming weeks. Strangely enough, this harvest wasn't quite as plentiful as what we're used to or what had been predicted.
I am curious about that particular thing, considering Jorix has a magic school.
We have several. It's part of a whole... there's various bards and wizards and druids that go to school. So there's, I want to say, about 13 different colleges and universities in the erudite quarter. And at this moment, you see he gets up quickly and walks over to this desk that is full of paperwork and scrolls and parchments. And he rummages in a drawer before pulling out a what appears to be a vial of this kind of black, it looks like dirt. But when he shakes it, it doesn't stick to the glass like the consistency of dirt, like good packing, which is needed for sowing crops. It's like sand.
The nutrients have been stripped from it.
In a school full of, with a school full of wizards and druids.
With a school full of wizards, as Jorix is being cut off from resources. Rory, I know we haven't been traveling together for very long, but I'm sure in Blackstone's memory, you can see what has happened with those crystals sapping out life force and magic. Perhaps they can't cast those spells.
Are you thinking that the society has been making itself known here?
Society.
We know that they have been, from what we found in the Unitel.
Part of that story that we were telling you that we would have to tell you about at some point.
Ostani, I'm sorry. It looked like you wanted to say something.
You've said society like 3 or 4 times. And yet I'm guessing we're not talking about our current community.
I know nothing about the community here, so no.
And I would like to say, as a person who does, also know.
What does Ouroboros mean to either of you?
Giant serpent, but that's about it.
I look at Ostani, and when Ostani says a symbol as a question, there is a moment that just settles on Rory of like a low level astonishment. So apparently we are also dealing with not only a lack of resources, but someone with a very tight control of the flow of information about what's happening.
Yes. Because I did try to send you a message. I know. I guess... Did you not get it?
Remnants. It appears that the message you tried to send was, seemingly, someone was aware that you were trying to get me some information. That's why I was so secretive with how I sent stuff to you all. We're well aware that probably at this point, they're keeping eyes on the key figures on the chessboard. And if the two of you have had dealings with them, I wouldn't put it past them to be aware of what you're up to.
We've killed 2 of their members.
That's reassuring.
Perhaps we should make this a little more secure. And I look to Rory like,
And I give a knowing nod. Well, all right. As I understand it, is probably best. Are all of you open to telepathic communications?
Sure.
If it is needed, then sure.
I think the more secure we are, the better it is for everybody here. Yes, I know that we have this bubble, but I would prefer to be cautious. Especially if some of us are being watched.
I'm fine with that.
All right.
Agreed.
So, looking at Diadora, so where do we want to start?
Probably should start from Illipin. From the beginning.
Oh dear. Okay. Give me a moment. And
I can help fill in any gaps if you can't access.
And everyone sees the room go from their current surroundings to just a white room. And in the room is Tyneal, Diadora, and Ostani, and myself. There's a bit of reverb in the room. Our adventures since our first meeting of each other between myself and Diadora have been many. And so have our somewhat unsettling discoveries as follows. And so you see a carton of wands with black and purple crystals encrusted in them. You see a moment of people, some of them silhouetted figures, but with myself and Diadora standing out among them, talking about the wands. There are looks of concern because the wands are addressed to magic schools, prominent ones. You see a giant black and purple crystal in what seems to be some kind of underground tavern. You see people fighting with the crystal and what seems to be some kind of malevolent energy that emanates from it. There is a fast forward to a woman in what looks to be like an apothecary. There are potions around the place. There are scrolls everywhere. And in what seems to be fast forward, you see her change from a woman into a gargoyle of some kind. You see an adventure into a town that looks like it's in the middle of a swampy area with several buildings connected to each other by a series of bridges. And you also see people in the town being turned into terrifying monster-like creatures, crabs, other things. And you see in all of the places in their homes, as the vision just zooms into certain people's houses, that there are plants there, but the plants are tinged with this sickly aquamarine looking color that seems to be doing a handful of things. It seems to be draining life from the area around it. It also seems to amplify negative emotions, and you see montages showing both of these things. There is a fast forward into a place that I think would be unfamiliar to everyone unless they are historians. There are pictures of a library schematic. There is a tree in the bottom of some catacomb. There is a corrupted spirit that you see being purified by some druidic figure that you can only see from behind. There is another jump in memory to a mountain, so like with the base of it surrounded by petrified trees. There are wraiths and revenants. There are creatures that are attacking me with slightly different clothes, and are trying to remove some kind of, or like trying to attach some kind of stone with what look like spider legs on it to my person.
Can Diadora jump in real quick?
By all means.
I think you also see another flashback, but not of Diadora or Rory, but like flashbacks of like previous adventurers who first encountered the creature behind all of these things. How they fought against this strange breach through the veil. And how most of them lost their lives trying to stop it from happening. And that is the first incident. You see these teleportation almost pads being destroyed. And you also see in that journey through the mountain, in the village, them going through trying to find artifacts, like Diadora and Rory back at this point, trying to find artifacts, and one of them slipping out of their grasp before they can get it. And it's all like, it seems, basically it's a supercut of every season before now. It's just
and in the background, what looks like a pinprick on the horizon, but continues to get larger, is this small, what seems to be a black hole that just seems to be swallowing stars,
eating everything.
And as that thing expands, and I turn around to look at it, there is a very heavy sigh. Unfortunately, Ostani, this is somewhat pertinent to you, as this is the state of at least part of the veil, and something that we're hoping to prevent from expanding. In the Ouroboros Society, would like to see this expand both in the veil and in the world of Ampistrano itself.
They've actively gone after the lady.
From the beginning, when they're in this room, Ostani was first surprised for the images that are coming around. So you see these flitting images, everything they're watching, going back and forth, and they see the breach, and you see this anger, almost flash of recognition, and even like they have their mace kind of attached to their back, kind of almost readied and to go, even though it is what they're watching, because that is part of their work. And it's clear on their face. And then as soon as they hear their name, Ostani, and that word again, 2 words where they were separate before, society and Ouroboros, it clicks. And then a surprised face to both of you. All this time.
For
I see
decades, if not centuries.
I see that you do know something about this. And the thing that Ostani, well, actually, I'll take the time to explain this part in character. I can feel both your anger and surprise from here. Telepathy and our connection to it carries a lot of information.
I understand the breaches and the what. This, and they connect it to, they start relaying what they had happened just this morning. I understand it because that is my work and my bond and duty to the lady, but this, how much the reach extends past that to me is, it's more of a, then they look straight to the commander. Why haven't you called me sooner? Or any of us? Hold on. And then they had gotten up and they're wondering in this room, is the couch still here?
The couch is still there, yeah.
Paint on it.
The furniture comes with us.
Yes.
Great. They're just up there and they do a little little centaur plop.
Little faint.
Little fainting
David.
couch moment.
And to interject real quick, I did actually just Discord message you what the symbol looked like as well. Just so you have that for your records, because I don't think I had sent that to you.
I think as Ostani kind of turns his tiny nail and says, why didn't you call us before? I would say to them, I don't know if he knew the extent of these things. This is something that's we happen to just stumble upon and follow the rabbit hole, as it were, towards these revelations. And to answer a couple questions, one that was posed and another that maybe is on everyone's mind. So the one that was posed, we know that they targeted Jorks because we found evidence that Jorks had been targeted and that they were successful in sending shipments here of those corrupted magic items.
Which just appears in midair in crystallized detail for everyone to examine.
They're wands. There were a number of shipments of wands that were set to be delivered to the local universities.
Yeah. We stopped the shipment in Illopin because we happened to be there at the right time, but we didn't know about Jorks until we visited the Unitel.
Unfortunately, if I may, unfortunately, the shipment was supported by a number of key political and very powerful figures in the current time. And, well, we may have had to have some aggressive negotiations with them. And the face of, oh goodness, not, what is that person's name?
Which one?
The very first person we had to run the fade because they had kidnapped Sam. Pettiwither. Like the face of the face and body of Pennywither appears. I think
decapitated head.
I think Tyneel would know this almost immediately because he was the first person that we went to for help when that happened.
No, we went to his
grandson. Yeah, this is grandson. Yeah.
This is grandpa, but we did, I think,
you did relay Diadora that information.
We did engage Gregory.
Good.
When this happened, and he helped with the cleanup and whatnot. I believe we also found out through that flashback to other adventurers' memories that this was the work, or the start of the work of one person. Does that ring a bell? I thought it was one guy who was who was like a dickhead.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure. I just don't remember their name. I want to call them Charlie, but
no, I don't think you're far off. I'll have to dig through my notes because it's been a minute since I've looked.
This is from the top of the dome. I want everybody to know this.
I'm so proud of you.
This is from 2 years ago. But this is the beginnings of the work of somebody. I wish I could remember more, but so much has happened. But I just basically some person who had an inflated a sense of self-importance, who thought they knew better than those who wanted to protect the world, who wanted power to control things. As it always is, I suppose. But they're the one who started this centuries ago.
Oh, sorry, continue.
Nope. No, I was going to say, and through lack of the work of several different groups, they've managed to hold this entity back, but he seems to have only grown in strength during that time. And I look at Rory like, I'm sorry, what were you trying to say?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I just remember the name.
What, Helderwood?
I was close.
You were very close. Yeah, you were really close. That's what got me. I was like, oh, yeah. No, I remember now.
That a knot appears with a bit of burning so that the rope is black.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only warning that I was able to receive from Jorix, part of what drove our urgency down here. This probably doesn't mean a whole lot to all of you, but this, for me, was a sign that the situation here was dire. I suppose that tracks considering, and you see what looks like a giant monstrous version of Jaws appear out of like a river that just courses through the room, right? We found one of those in the river leading here.
Ostani.
I would imagine that there are probably several of them.
Ostani, you would know this is an aboleth, yeah.
Aboleth.
Mm-hmm.
A rather large extraplanar creature enjoys several things that are not good for humans. World domination, you know.
Including being able to take control of people and command them to do things. But I think when we encounter this creature, the question was, who was controlling it? Because there's no reason for it to be in that river. They normally would be in like an ocean.
And also, preferably, per my understanding, as Rory adjusts his glasses, prefer to work unseen in the things that they do. It is alarming, to say the least, that they would be both visible for one and under the employ of anyone for another.
And physically attacking for a third. When they usually use psionics to get their work done.
So either it was commanded to go into the river, or it was spooked. Wonderful.
It's bad either way.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
I think Diadora's sitting there and like, kind of like, for what, like, finally her brain's like, the cogs in her brain are like moving for something other than like her kind of self-pity, like blame. They're cutting off the food supply, making people, like, sowing discontent amongst the people. And also, and doubling that by people going missing and only nobles seemingly being taken, like, looking into, whereas the lower classes, for lack of a better term, have no support.
Wait, that does remind me. And an image appears of that swamp town, but the zoom ins are on people arguing with each other.
Vibran, yes.
And fighting with each other. And like as those arguments continue to happen, and as people have that internalized disconnection from people, whether it's from anger or mistrust or sadness or any of those things, there is a zoom in to a small plant that would have been in the background, and you see it grow in size. All right, Diadora, this was a thing that you were talking about. Wait.
Yes. A city like Jorix, the capital, with an army at its command.
And people who have a reason, who are very dissimilar to each other and might not need much of a reason to...
And with there being... She looks like... we could still see the... Oh no, we're in that white room. But are there windows still in the room, Rory?
I mean, they can be. Like, the things that are in this room are perceivable. They're entirely up to y'all.
Okay. I think Diadora glances towards the window where there's like that obvious demarcation of social classes and areas and socioeconomic areas within the city. And then you have the people who have everything and the people who are slowly losing everything separated.
And if that is the case, then that means, unfortunately, and a timer appears. Commander Tyneel, you have approximately 2 weeks to figure out what is going on there. Because if you do not, what is a rough situation now will possibly get exponentially worse. And what happens as I say that is there's a zoom in that everybody can see of me and Diadora being in town earlier that day. And there's a posted sign about the autumnal equinox and the tournament there. Also, it seems to be a little bit unfair that they always pick the autumn or harvest season. I do so enjoy it, but never mind that. Note this.
Yeah, but that's when you can best affect the food supply. When it is needed and the winter is coming. Seeing the poster reminds... Oh, I didn't realize. I never saw Game of Thrones. My bad. For everybody else, I never watched a single episode of Game of Thrones in my fucking life. So that was just me saying that.
Just the season is coming.
Yeah.
Ostani agrees. Yes, the harvest. This is important for so many people.
Oh, well, actually, more important is, and there is a highlight of the words at the bottom of the sign that someone is offering 5,000 gold to whoever wins this particular tournament. And then you start hearing disembodied voices of the people in town talking about the tournament.
I think Diadora, I think Rory and Diadora are kind of having similar thoughts at the same time about the poster. And Diadora says, I think we need to find out who actually is throwing this tournament, who put that prize up, because I think they might not be at the center of this, but they certainly are probably involved based on that prize.
I can answer that question.
At least they're connected to people who are.
Yes.
It's coming from the crown.
What?
Could you be a little bit more specific?
It's coming directly from...
Diadora points to the castle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's coming directly from, right now, the acting queen. The king has been sick for a number of weeks. Obviously, I asked that not to be repeated, but she's been acting regent.
Diadora,
there is a tear. There is a tear of basically something that sounds like blowing a whistle, a car coming to a halt, a record scratch, all of that intensity
freeze
immediately
frame.
right there.
Yeah.
So hard that the telepathy has a momentary glitch.
Yeah. The king's... Who says that the king's been sick? Has he been seen?
He has been seen. Several clerics have been
By whom?
Several of the clerics. Tom Wilkinson, who I actually just spoke to as of last night, just saw him, said he was been pretty ill. looking very gray. They're wondering if it's been some kind of seasonal flu.
Theodore
then
like
immediately Greenwich
appears.
Yeah. Like immediately Greenwich appears.
No. And for Diadora, Aurea appears. Because Aurea touched that crystal and immediately lost all the color in her body. This is the work of the Ouroboros Society. We've seen this before.
So this is why it's important to be specific. I don't think it's just the crown. Someone is trying to assassinate the king as it stands. We need to find out why.
Diadora looks at Rory and is like, it's obviously the queen.
I would say obviously who, but not obvious why. I want to know more about that.
How do we get in to see? Is there a way that we can get to the castle?
At this point, Tynell has gotten up and has been pacing, kind of like mulling over everything that you all are saying, trying to.
And the funny part is everybody can just do this in their minds, and their bodies are perfectly still. It's great.
He's just got to do it. Because you do see...
His assistant walks in and just sees us all sitting and staring at each other like...
Going on him.
She's like, I don't want none of this shit.
Just gotta slowly close this real quick. Yep.
Blazing it somewhere. But you see him Inception. As he's kind of pacing, and every now and then he kind of waves a hand. One, as he's getting used to the magic that's in this kind of meeting space. And you see for a second as all of those images of your travels and even that town, Vibran, that you were in, he seems to like stop at that point and is looking closely at it before you see him almost like wince. Well, that explains it. It wasn't the greatest of contacts, but we lost our contact in Vibran about, well, at the timing of this, right around the same time you all were there.
I think Diadora looks away then and says, yeah, unfortunately, I didn't catch what was happening in time.
You couldn't have known.
But I should have known. Because we had already experienced things like that.
The closer we get to something, the tougher it is to see it. I'm doing the same thing if it gives you any consolation at all.
If it matters, I did try to make sure that it was a swift death.
He kind of holds your shoulder for a second, just giving it a gentle nudge. Squeeze. Just trying to reassure you. Kind of nods in your direction. I trust you. They're crafty, I'll give them that. They're sowing those seeds of chaos for all intents and purposes, putting everyone at their throats, cutting off communication, cutting off lines of supplies.
And feeding off of the negative energy in order to fuel whatever that creature is.
So that's why. And he looks at you again, Ostani. Well, I know Diadora explained it. As I mentioned, a lot of the communications have been coming in. The letter that was sent was in, honestly, confetti. Looked like someone had shredded it. The messenger was in a hospital for 2 weeks. Barely made it in.
I think those, things that Tynell is trying to explain also just
they pop up
here in the space.
Yeah. And to add further context, and although this may give us a good place to start in our search of the city of what might be going on, and he looks at Ostani, I am sure that Keeper Reyna has brought you to the surface about what's been going on in the graveyard district.
Yes, they've touched on it.
And he looks...
Do you have a map of the catacombs?
Partial. Not full. But the first 2 levels, and you see he kind of starts to get up and then remembers. And then we're in the waiting room.
I'm not actually in my office.
And you see kind of expanding behind him what looks like it's almost being carved out of the white walls, as it makes this almost 3D model. He's memorized of the first level and a half of the catacombs, which I will send you after stream.
I remember in both Illipin and in the Unitel, everything they were doing was underground.
Well, that would explain the dirt situation too.
I'm sorry?
The soil that he showed.
Oh,
with no nutrients in it. It's this creature, the society, they plant these crystals in places and it just sucks everything out of you, your spirit. If any of your people find just crystals in the dirt or anything, tell them not to touch it.
No.
Has that happened? Anything close to these? Because it seems like so many things are happening just under secret in so many areas.
Mm-hmm.
Has that touched in either the nearby location that Ostani frequents, or the temples that they could start pinging in their mind?
Why don't you do a history check? And go ahead and add your spirit modifier to that as well.
While that happens, I think it is important for everybody to remember, with the various things that we are feeling today, that it's not that just these things happened and you just weren't aware of them. People used or worked in concert with people who had power and influence to keep you away from being able to prevent these problems. And that is also a thing we will have to contend with at some point.
Saying it directly to Diadora. What'd you get, Ostani?
Yeah, what'd you get?
I got a 15, but I do not know what my spirit modifier is.
It's
I have
+4.
VHB.
You are +4. Yes, so it's a 19.
Got it.
Yes. So with that, hang on, y'all. I gotta sneeze. It's one of those that wants to, but it's not doing it. So with that, there have been some weird reports. There's been definitely some changing of the guard as you just got a new batch of fledglings. And it's been largely fledglings tailing some of the watchers. That's where some of those discussions have been happening. You know that there have been several teams of watchers that have been going in every couple nights to the graveyard district to see what might be going on because of the kind of strange lights, which many people have said look like orbs, which you know to be people's spirits. But instead of being pulled into the veil, they seem to be pulled elsewhere. Because veil sight, seeing those orbs, not everyone can do that. But the fact that these souls are powerful enough to be seen and not be veil touched in any way, not have gone through that ceremony.
Mm-hmm.
They're manifesting fully. And most of the disappearances have been around the graveyard district. You know that the partner that you were working with was looking into it right before they too also went missing. Or disappeared.
Yes,
it's hard to say exactly.
Mm-hmm. The only, I think, to this connection that will be noted is when there was talk of missing. There was interest, but there was just like a blip in like the measurement of like interest from Ostani that I think everyone would recognize that they're just high, like their face is still though. Understood.
Bits and people.
Well, they will continue with the
Vibrant,
crystals. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. In Vibran, there were also people missing from there, and we found them after exploring the Unitel in the area, and they were being experimented on.
And you see like this slide of people moving toward a pit with like that same kind of sickly aquamarine colored energy. And us trying to, and like a group of people desperately trying to rescue them.
Oh. Some members of nobility have gone missing.
And
were these members part of prominent families?
Yes. And you'll actually have the chance to talk to one of them. It hasn't hit the local town criers, but as of this morning, one of them came back.
Not a great sign, if I'm being very honest. Also, a lamplighter went missing last night.
That I did hear about as well.
Is our resources, Diadora, like, part of why people are disgruntled right now is because it seems that the resources for these investigations are more going towards nobles than the common folk. I think it would do a lot to assuage people, to make people feel like they are important too, if we allocated more resources to the missing common folk.
There's something we agree
like this
on.
lamplighter.
I can say it's a bit of a troublesome area. The nobles are able to outsource a lot of the times with some of their... They have networks. They have families and branches that go all over. So they're a little bit more vocal. Though I imagine in the next few weeks, as things change, they might change their tune, especially seeing a lot of the hostility. We are allocating what we can. However, I'm already working on that with your brother. Your brother has been sneaking supplies. And we have, in a very secure space that only I am aware of, we are working to secure supplies for the remainder of the people, as well as to assist with the temples, with food for the people of Jorix. That's why he's here.
Yes, I received your secret missive, so I know.
Good.
Definitely need to work on your shift weave in a bit.
I know your brother's been trying.
I have two questions.
Sure.
Is there a plot of land that is only accessible to the common folk?
In what way?
In the way that I asked, very specifically.
Well, I mean, they're able to walk around the lower levels as much as possible. Once it gets into the cloud top and above, then it gets a little bit, unless they're there for either working or otherwise, but they're able to walk around for the most part.
If it is possible to find a plot of land that they primarily get their resources and things from, we might be able to find some situation where that particular plot of land could be made to grow a little bit more than usual. And that might help with a few things.
You mean
I could help with that.
Okay. Rory, just so we're clear, you mean like maybe a place where people normally wouldn't use to grow food, and then...
Possible.
Is that what you're saying?
Either a place that it wouldn't normally be used to grow food, or a place that is used to grow food, or that could grow food that the nobility does not know about.
I'll do some investigating. I'm sure I can come up with something.
Ostani.
And
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say, we can also defer to Ostani.
Ostani, a question for you. How much has being a Watcher of the Veil taught you? As I understand that is your title, correct?
It is my title and my duty to the lady.
How much of the applications of spirit energy and or spirit magic are you aware of?
It is my entire work. It is what I've taught and learned. I've learned and now teach since I was a fledgling. I have been the spiritfarer for spirits, and I have guarded that. They're stumbling through this, but when they're talking about their work, they look back at you as, what is it that you need, and I can possibly provide it.
And what you see behind Rory is like runes that would basically be equations, right? Like a whole equation starts like filling up the entire space. So, while I understand that there are some normal things, some footwork to be done via common channels to find out what's going on here, I have a question for you. Would you know how to extend your senses spiritually to find out what condition the king is right now?
I cannot do it within this chamber, no. I think as we wanted to possibly grant ourselves into as close as possible to where they would be, I could do something, yes.
I would be curious to know if that place has some of that negative energy signature that we've learned about, or if it is in some other way protected from the influences of spiritual energy from the outside. Because if it is, that tells us a few things.
In this room, does the commander have something of the king, like the royal sigil, the anything that connects them to him, the king?
There's a coat of arms. You can see kind of behind Tyneel's desk, probably at one point was much larger and seemed to have been fused to the wall. Tyneel, not wanting something as gregarious to be kind of hanging up in his office, seems to at some point maybe ripped it off of the wall and shrunk it down. So it looks more of like a paperweight on his desk kind of thing. So it's still there. And you can see that with the crest itself, it looks like a trident that has been fused through lightning, and seems to be piercing what appears to be a sea dragon.
Ostani's like small cape, like with like droplets of glass, right? They have robes of purple. They're rummaging through their items. I believe Sokka like followed, right? So they're just moving around them. And they pull out like a symbol of the lady, possibly with like two sides of life and death in each side.
Yep.
And there's two choices that they want to do.
Okay.
One is, and they don't know which one to do yet, but they're going to pick. One is to use that connection to the king and scry for the next 10 minutes.
Interesting.
Or with the light death side, they will pierce the veil and connect with an otherworldly entity to provide insight or advice.
Okay.
And so I don't have a D2 on me. Well, it's a coin. They, for timing, and because I believe close to their proximity would give me better answers, let me choose from here. What could I check to see, like, which of these two choices would be the better of two choices? just to understand.
Let's do an insight check on yourself, right? Because this is Ostani's belief in their self and their ability with that. So you can do an insight check on yourself, I think.
So 16 plus 8 for a 24.
Okay. Based off of the information, while your spells are very, very powerful, it is likely that if the commander has a bubble that will prevent scrying in anyone that's listening in, it's very likely that the king has some kind of setup similar. You, though, spirits never lie.
They're looking at the debt side of the coin, and my lady answers. They take a piece of paper and they start sketching what they know is like an ethereal doorway, which is a line straight down in the middle, as they've known it to be. And they fold it too, just fold it enough to make it stand on its own, and knock 3 times and cast Pierce the Veil.
Incredible. And as you knock that sheet of parchment, you can slowly feel it in your hand growing hot. And see that it almost looks like it's on fire, but not like being burned away. No. It's twisting and turning until eventually you're holding in your hand a silver key to this doorway as it now shapes. And you can see that it is locked. You have knocked for it to appear. But for you to open that door that the Watchers so very carefully make sure is unlocked and locked every single day, you have merely to place the key in the hole.
Because this is just for, I believe they have up to 5 questions.
Correct.
That temptation to open that door is there to make it easier. But what they do is go close to the keyhole. Hello there, friend. Beyond the veil.
Can you roll a d10 for me, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, we suddenly in a Ouija board session.
Forgot what kind of cleric I am. Oh yeah, that's right.
I've already looked at your character sheet. I won't lie. I'm curious. I want to see. And I'm like,
first time.
hot.
The D10 was, I believe, a 5.
Okay. And with your spirit, that'll be a 9 total.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Pulling from where that keyhole is, you can see this silver almost kind of wisp is almost like reaching through the door. Almost in a hello. And it just sounds like whispers. Like hello comes back to you.
They look back to all of you. 5 questions. That is what I can provide.
And I think on that is where we will end for today.
Oh, I have one question.
Go for it.
Not for the door. Not for the door.
No, I figured.
I was wondering. I was waiting to bring this up, but because Ostani has veil sight, right? I was wondering if Ostani could see that Diadora's kind of been like marked by the Lady of the Veil.
You would see. It's a very, very gentle, almost like cloak that's surrounding her.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, no.
I was just curious.
It's nice too because the cloak kind of shifts between kind of the silver of the veil, but then that kind of ink black of the shift weave. So it's constantly kind of moving and resonating in between, the balance between the two, the gray areas. As the shift weave and the veil are very intricately intertwined, not only with Diadora, but in Ostani you would know this, throughout history. So, but that, as much as I want to keep going, is where we will end for today, y'all. I'm so proud of you. This was so much fun. Yay! It's so good to be back, y'all. Thank
that was
you.
amazing.
All right, let me switch over the music. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us today. This was a ton of fun. Welcome back, season 4. We're here. We're so back. And yeah, I'm so excited, y'all. And blessed to have an incredible cast. I want to very quickly, before I pass around for everyone for shout outs and stuff, I want to again thank Gremlynnart for doing everyone's art. It's so good. And then again, Pandora Macabre did all of our overlays and stuff, and they look so good. Did our overlays, did our intro, did our stat blocks, and has just been absolutely slaying. We're gonna be, I believe, rating over to them, so we can go give some love there too. Incredible job, y'all. I am going to work backwards, and I'm gonna pop it over to Fair first for outros and anything you have coming up this week that you might want to shout out, announce, all that stuff.
Hi, I'm Farron. I have been Diadora. Oh, Discord, fuck off right now. I've been Diadora, Shades on your depressed Battlemaster fighter. You can follow me on socials at Fairbear, Instagram, Blue Sky, TikTok, and here on Twitch. I do stream. I might stream tonight. I don't know. This has been like, we'll see what my energy is doing after this, because this was like a very emotional roller coaster for Diadora. But you can also find me as a cast member on The Monster Within, a Vampire the Masquerade campaign, story told by Dibbles and Dice over on his channel on Wednesdays. And I am also cast of Passages Through Lost Places, which we are currently recording. It is a Tales of the Valiant campaign by Cobalt Press. That should be coming, I think, starting next month. So be on the lookout for that. And I will pass it over to Sin.
Hello, it me, Sinziek, the sunflower person. It has been a wonderful time being Vori today, and who knows who I'm going to be by the time we get here next. We'll see how the season goes. You can find me on Blue Sky in all of the places and things. You can find me hanging out with the Tech Talk crew on Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and next week in particular, we are rolling out our first episode of the Magnus Archives by Other Side Studios. So, Gifts of Fear. It comes out next week on Thursday. Be on the lookout
Ambrose,
for the things.
you and I are beefing because Magnus Archives is one of my favorite fucking podcasts. And I know you in chat right now. We're fucking beefing. I can't believe I wasn't invited to this.
So we're absolutely going to be there, where I am a very, a strange little guy who has tarot cards and does moon magic. So looking forward to that next week. Aside from that, feel free to follow me here on Twitch, where I am doing all of the things, mostly playing MMOs and or banging my head against Hollow Knight until I get it right. Maz,
you
got this.
That game. Yeah. Hi all, I'm Maz. You can find me everywhere at It's Mozzarella, or here on Twitch is Mozzarella. I am a voice actor. I run games and do production over at Starcrawl RPG. Yes, I think for the next couple of weeks, it's going to be a very busy schedule of things that are coming out. One, I am also on there playing Marcus, who I adore, who does inky like tattoo magic that is awesome, and also bakes for their coworkers. One of my favorite characters of this year. Literally, I already miss them. I think on Sunday I'll be on Forgotten Adventures playing Navara for which is our Were Tiger Oath Oathbreaker paladin, and also really gorgeous and wonderful, and has a glaive. And then on Monday, I'll be returning as Mo, who is an artificer alchemist over at Catchy Cantrips. We're finishing that campaign there. So Mo is based on Freerun, so I'm like slowly saying goodbye to them, but possibly will be for a little bit of campaign 2 because there'll be a time skip. I had so much fun. This was incredible. Find me on other things and you'll see what other things I'm on. Yeah.
Incredible. And I have been your storyteller, D&D Jordan Lee. She, they pronouns. Award-winning before anyone comes for me in chat. I will be here starting on Monday because I'm going to be starting to stream for every single day for October, because October is my favorite month. So we'll be playing some horror games. We'll be playing Hades 2, a bunch of stuff. And we'll be back here next Saturday with another episode of Ampistrano. And I'm so excited to see what shenanigans we get into. We are going to go ahead and raid out. But if you want to catch up on all the episodes as well as the interludes and such, please go check out our YouTube. Go check out our Patreon as they get exclusive access to a bunch of things. And yeah, we're going to get out of here. We're going to raid over to the phenomenal Pandora. So go ahead and use that raid call. And don't worry, if you are not subscribed, we got a second one for you. And from all of us here at the Veil, have a great week, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.